Hello, welcome to Brap Life. My name's Angel. Thank you guys so much for listening. It is absolutely amazing to me that you guys show up every single week and listen to all of these stories and hear the repeat of my story, because as I'm talking to these people, they don't always know my story, so it's something to relate to. And basically it's just a conversation. So we're relating to each other, and there's a couple questions, but it's just about comfort. So sorry if you're sick of hearing the same story. I'll try and use new ones. But this week's episode is with Alexis. She is based in Wisconsin. She's a young rider. She's 15, and she is an absolute powerhouse on a bike. She's on an 85, and she just rips on that thing. She did her first hard enduro this year at TKO, and it went amazingly. So here's Alexis's story. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you next week. This goes. All right. So, officially, welcome to Brap Life. Thank you for coming on and being my twin, apparently.
Of course.
um, so I'm super excited. So, for those who don't know, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and just go ahead and you can already start talking about how you got into riding.
Okay, I'm Alexis Burbeck. I race under Champion Brake Racing. I first got into riding with my dad and my sister. So my dad got my sister her bike for one of her birthdays, and I don't know, she started riding, and when I got old enough, like I got my bike, and it just became like kind of like a family thing. Same thing with my little brother. He got into it whenever he was old enough, so I've been doing it forever. So I mean,
Forever.
it's
And
one of my
how old are
favorite
you
things.
now?
I'm 15 currently, so yeah.
Yeah. So most of your life you've been riding.
Yeah, I think I would say I started anywhere between 8 to 10 years ago. I'm not really sure. It, yeah, somewhere in that range. But
That's awesome, though. So, for those that don't know, Alexis is actually a beast on a bike. So I met her at TKO, and she was there in the Champion Brick paddock. I got introduced to her, and I was like, "Sweet, another girl. She's in the amateur class. Like, this is awesome." And then she shouldn't even have been in the amateur class because she was gone. Like, she was so far ahead. It was ridiculous. I was like, it's so cool though, because you are young, but you are just like throwing that bike around. You are making it through stuff that some grown men can't do. So I think it's super awesome, and it really inspired me. So I hopefully it inspires a lot of other people too.
yeah, riding, I mean, I really worked on my hard enduro stuff this summer. So TKO was actually my
Mhm.
first hard enduro, and it was definitely challenging. Like it was the hardest race I've ever done for sure.
Mhm.
But I mean, with the Mad Moose in there too, because I did that one later on this year. But both of them were
Yeah.
very challenging races. Like there were things that I looked at, and I don't even understand how I got up them myself. Like looking at them, I look at them and I was like, oh, this is not gonna end well for me. But I
Mhm.
somehow made it through. So yeah, we didn't know really what class to pick, so I was just like, let's try women's out. And I don't really know for sure what we're gonna do next year. I think we're looking into women's pro, but we haven't really made a decision for sure yet. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
No,
definitely
I
looking
think
forward to next
you
season though.
yeah, you have the skills in my opinion. I mean, you did great. Um that was awesome to see you go through and just kick butt. Uh but yeah, I what was your favorite part about TKO?
Um, uh, I think it was like looking back at it. I don't think while actually doing it, there wasn't like a part that like specifically stuck out to me. Like the whole thing while
Mhm.
doing it, I was like, "Dear God, when is it gonna end?" But like looking back at it, it was definitely. I just I enjoy looking back at it and seeing how far I've come from riding. Cause like
Yeah.
thinking before TKO, I didn't realize that I had the skills that I did, and then I wrote it and I realized
Mhm.
like how much I've progressed through it. So even I think I got like
Yeah.
4 times better just through that day alone. Not even the practicing going up to it,
Yeah.
but just the day. It just taught me so much, like how to maneuver myself because I'm shorter on the bike. Now I have an 85,
Mhm.
so it definitely gives me that advantage. Plus, it's lighter. But I'll still put my
Yeah.
foot down sometimes, and there won't be ground there, and I'll fall over. I'll be like, dang it, if I could just have a
Mhm.
few more inches. But you know,
Yeah.
but so I think just that, and then just being out there all by myself, because like I didn't ride with anyone, and it was the
Mhm.
first time that I went through like hard terrain where I was like really by myself, other than like a few club races I've done. But like that
Yeah.
was truly the hardest, and I just it made me realize how much stronger of a rider that I am than I thought I was. So that was
Yeah.
definitely probably I don't know if it'd be a favorite part, but that was my favorite thing to realize about it.
No, I think that's huge. That's definitely something that I love about riding and that I have found in the few races that I've done as well. Like I mean I didn't do that great at my very first one at Battle of the Goats. That was rough. I did better at TKO than I did at Battle of the Goats, and I made it through the hot lap. It took me forever, but I struggled, but I did it, and I was super proud of it. So I totally get what you mean by that. I feel like it's very confidence building to do something like hard enduro.
I agree. I agree. Just the way that you realize how much better of a rider you am than you truly think in your head is just incredible to me. Cause like
Yeah.
even watching other people do things, cause I'll watch pro ride, even the pro riders on our team ride, and I look at them and it's like
Mhm.
I don't even understand. You just play rode up something that took probably would have taken me an hour and a half just to figure out how to start going up. So it's like hopefully at some point
Yeah.
I'll reach that level, but thinking from them, they probably don't even think that's that difficult. So it's like the day that I
Yeah.
reach that point where the hard things that I thought were hard now become easy, like that the
Yeah.
day will be definitely something to remember.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's really cool to see that kind of progression. Like I personally have been kind of on that journey the last year and my buddy told me that one day. He's like, "You're going to get to the point where cuz I was super excited cuz I made it most of the way up the hill this one time. And then the next time it was like 4 months later I tried it again and I made it all the way up the hill and he's like, "Yeah, it's going to be to the point where like that will be your warm up." And I was like, if that's my warm up, like holy crap. Like but it's true though, like you progress and things that seemed so scary to you before now all of a sudden are just normal and they're not as insane as you thought they were. And I think that that's super cool to see that progression. So the fact that you could see that like in real time in a race, like that's really awesome. But like I said, you're kind of kick ass. Like you were just out there and you were just like beasting through it. It was your first hard enduro. That's not terrain that you really have in your area to train in. So that was super, super impressive on like so many different levels.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I did a lot of riding that summer up in the sands up in the UP. I think it
Oh,
was
yeah.
yeah. They had the Mad Moose there this year, but I rode with a lot of the sandstormers up there, so I got used to that like more difficult terrain. So that I think definitely gave me that upper
Mhm.
hand when I went to TKO. But just
Yeah.
getting used to like the harder
Yeah,
terrain.
definitely.
Cause I mean, other
Yeah.
than this year,
Yeah.
I've really only done like hair scrambles and things, so it wasn't much difficult stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. So you talked about training. Like, what did that look like for you? Like, did you focus on any specific like techniques or was it just the terrain that you were trying to get used to?
Yeah. So outside, I live on a farm, so we have this farm field that's actually trained like we have like tires out there and like log pits, certain like obstacles set up
Uh,
out there. So that was
yeah.
most of my technique training. It
Mhm.
was a lot of so we have this long rock garden. It was a lot of just going one way, going back and seeing how long I could stay balanced trying with different ways. So that was a lot of like my rock
Mhm.
training at least. And then we have this section where there's like a bunch of logs right next to each other so you can get used to that like when your
Yeah.
front tire pops down how you can pop it up and get ready for that next log right away, which I think definitely helped
Yeah.
with the TKO in the beginning where you have the log matrix. I think that definitely helped a lot with that because I
Mhm.
had already gotten used to that like pop of your front tire to get it ready for the next log already. But that was most
Yeah.
of my technique training because it was just constantly going up and down those obstacles out there. But yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
really
I
cool.
just
Yeah, that and go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. And then, like I said, just there's some hill, like so there's really rocky hills up in the UP,
Mhm.
and there were just certain ones that, I mean, me and my dad actually we went up one of them and we like raced each other up it to see who could go up first. He beat me by a mile, but I stayed with him for at least half of it, which was the important part. And we would just go up the
Yeah.
hill and then come back down it, and then go back up it and come back down it. I think we did it at least like 4 or 5 times, and then we'd go on to something else. And
Wow.
it was just a constant day of like 3 hours of riding with a break and then another couple hours of riding of just constantly trying to keep going, seeing how much further we could go when we were super tired, building up stamina, you know. So,
Yeah. Oh, I think that's super important. Like, that's kind of, I mean, I'm so new. Like I said, I just seat time in general has been huge for me. I should not have been out there for either race that I did. I'm so new and I don't have the techniques down. And, I've only been riding for a couple years, but, um, I kind of did it to be in like camaraderie with other women, to show women that you don't need to be the the pro or whatever to go out there. Um, so in that way, I was trying to hopefully like kind of influence some women and show them that it's okay to go out there and to fail. I didn't fully fail. I mean, I made the hot lap. It took forever, but I did it. And then, I did about a third of the actual race course. So, but I did help two guys too. um, so like you know, it, it's all new to me. It's crazy, but I'm really hoping that inspired women. But I also know that your story is going to inspire women because, I mean, girls, young girls too, they're going to hear that you did this and they're going to be like, oh, she could do it. Maybe I can do that too. Because sometimes, and I don't know how often you've gotten to ride with women, but sometimes when you're out in the trail with other women, the guys, like you said, those pro and high A guys do something and you're like, no way. Like, there's no way that I could do that. But then a woman does it, and you're like, okay, so it is possible. Like,
yeah, I I think yeah, riding I've really only ridden with guys, and then my sister is the only other really women
mhm,
that I've like consistently ridden with. But my sister stopped riding a
mhm,
couple years ago. So it's really just been me and
mhm.
a few other girls I've ridden with, but not many. And I think it's just the pushing of riding with other people too that it's gotten me to the point that I am right now. Because everyone I ride with at this point is better than me,
Yeah,
just because that's just how it
yeah,
seems to be. So just watching them like try those
yeah.
things and then see that it is possible. So then you try it, and most of the time you fail. Like there's many times where I'll try something and go right back down it. The bike just rolls right back down the
Mhm,
hill, and it's like,
mhm.
well, I guess that wasn't for me right then. And then you got to go find your bike and hope it didn't break. But no, there's definitely a lot of times that I do that. I just try something and it doesn't end up well, but at least I
Mhm.
try to reflect on it and see like what I could have done better in the situation. Typically the thing that I typically
Yeah,
have to work on is keeping my weight forward when I'm riding up like steeper hills because I like to
mhm,
kind of lean further back, and I feel like that's something that I try to reflect on and see what I could have done a little bit better just to improve a
yeah,
little bit. And then I'll try it on like smaller hills, like the hills that are
mhm,
bigger. I can't always try it, like get it right the next time, and I don't want to like crash miserably, so I'll try it on like less steep hill or one with less rocks, so
yeah,
I can just get used to that like
yeah,
feeling of what it's going to be like, and then I'll try the hill again and
yeah,
see how it works. So that's typically the progression of how I try to get better, at least with the technical stuff then too. But
yeah.
yeah.
I love that. That's awesome. I especially at your age, being able to reflect like that, and not like kind of getting lost in the emotion. Like I've seen grown men fail on stuff and get so upset and like throw a temper tantrum on the trail. And I'm like, bro, are you good? Um, and but for you to be able to have that self-reflection to just kind of, you're laughing as you're talking about it and you were in such good spirits out at TKO. Like I feel like that's going to take you really far too if you decide to keep pursuing hard enduro. Having that mindset is huge, and that's something that all of the pros have talked about with us, is that like having a solid mindset, not getting frustrated, be able to keep thinking things through, especially if you fail something, being able to just stay focused and be like exactly what you said. Okay, what can I do better? And do it quickly so that way, if you're in a race, you can keep going and stay competitive, but still being able to keep that composure. And I think you're really, really good at that. And I think that that's going to take you really far.
Yeah, I think I've gotten way better at it. I can positively say that at the beginning of the season I was not at all in this mindset right now. Starting hard stuff was very difficult for me, and I don't think I would be
Mhm.
where I was without my dad being out there, just being able to tell me to like, "You're fine. You did just fine. Forget about it. Now, what can you
Yeah.
do better?" And I think I really just learned that mindset from him, just because it was
Yeah.
always when I tried a hill, I'd get in my head and I'd be like, "Ugh, I'm never gonna be able to do this. Like, what am I doing out here?" I'd get in that mindset of like, "Why am I out here?" And he would just snap me out of it. And I think with dealing with that, it's gotten me to snap out of it on my own. And I'm just like, okay, so what do I have to do? And I just
Yeah.
that I think is really key to just riding and becoming better. You can't think about what you can't do right then. You got to think about what you can do
Mhm.
to then get to that point. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's super important. I absolutely love it. I would love to just like take your mindset and like borrow it when I'm out on the trail. Like
oh, it's
I've
all
done
yours.
pretty
You can take
good.
it. You got it.
I've done pretty good, and like I've transitioned a lot from like I used to be, when you're on a trail and you're riding with people who are better than you, because that's who I ride with too. Um I ride with a bunch of guys who ride like A class hard enduro. So I am definitely not there. I can't even keep up with you. So like it gets scary. But like I had to go from looking at an obstacle and being like, okay, what's the worst that could happen, and hitting it. Having that split second of seeing me falling off the cliff or, failing miserably was terrible. So I started saying, what's the best that could happen? And when I did that, as I'm coming up to the obstacle, then I'm envisioning myself getting over it. And I'm like seeing what I have to do with my body. And I'm doing that. And 9 times out of 10, it works. It doesn't always work. But, part of that is still skills that I'm learning. But it's really, really helped me. And another thing is that almost every single time that I fall, I laugh because I'm just like, I put myself here. This is what I've wanted to do for a long time. And even though I've only been riding for a few years, I've wanted to do this for like 8 years longer that I've been riding. So like hard enduro was the first dirt biking stuff that I really watched on TV. So I was like, I didn't know there was like supercross and other stuff at first. I was just like, I want to do that. Like that looks really
That's
cool.
funny to
So
me. That's funny
it's
to me
funny to
because
everybody.
most people it's
Mhm.
always like they see like the big crazy jumps and then they find out about the
Yeah.
hard enduro stuff and it's like, wait, there's another side to this. So I think that's really interesting that you saw this side first.
Yeah, yeah. I was scrolling through Red Bull TV, and it was like I was like, "Oh, hey, dirt bike." And like I said, I didn't ride at the time, but I watched Erzberg, and so like they were going through that race, and I was just like completely just baffled watching it, and just like that's the coolest thing. Like I want to learn to do that. And like I said, I didn't even know how to ride a dirt bike. I didn't grow up riding bicycles. Like this is not something that I should have ever had a thought about, but it was just so cool to me. And I was like, one day, and then, like I said, like 8 years later, I got a dirt bike. And I was like, you guys, I'm going to ride hard enduro one day. And they're like, no, you're not. Like, no way. Because I was almost 30 years old when I started riding. So like, that's old, first of all. You know how short I am. You know how big bikes look next to me. Like, I have all of these things against me, but I don't care. I had this idea and I'm going to make it happen. I'm not that great yet, but I am 10 times better than I was 6 months ago. And even since TKO, I've improved and I'm just going to keep improving. So that's where I'm at with my stuff. So,
I absolutely love that for you. Like that's so incredible. The fact that everything seemed to be against you in the beginning and you were just like, "You know what? It's what I want to do. So I'm going to do it." Like that
yeah.
is
Yeah.
that's amazing. I love that. Cuz that's incredible. I mean, with all the
Yeah.
odds stacked against you, I mean, you still got a dirt bike and went out there and did it. And I
Mhm.
mean, you didn't even like you didn't hurt yourself at TKO. Like you made it
Nope.
as far as you could, and you knew your boundaries. You were like, okay. And now next time you're gonna
Yes.
try it again. I'm assuming, and you're gonna do better because
Yep.
that's how it works. You get that progression. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I wanna do I mean, I just did a race a few weeks ago on somebody else's bike, and that was absolutely insane, but it's one of the most technical trails that they have here in this race series, and I honestly didn't pick it because of that. My friend just asked me if I wanted to ride it, and I ended up making it, and I got my first podium, and I was so excited, and I was like, "Oh my god, I got 3rd in women's C," right? But
That's
I was
awesome.
so stoked. I was like, all the time I see all these guys and they're like, "Oh, I got 3rd place, like, this sucks, like, I really wanted 1st," and I'm like, "Dude, I am so freaking happy to get 3rd place, like, this is, like, a dream come true," and all these guys are like, what's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
But it's the beginning for me, right? Like, so for me,
Yeah.
that's my first podium, and now I wanna get more, and I wanna do better, I wanna get faster, and now I have a fire because I was like, "Okay, this was an enduro, now I need a hard enduro podium." So, this is my drive now.
Oh yeah, you got that the taste of the podium, and now you're looking for it again.
Mhm.
I know we all get that
Yeah.
way.
I
That-
and that's the thing is I was never competitive growing up. I did not
oh,
play sports. Like, I
really?
didn't grow up doing any of that stuff. Like, so I never won first place in anything. So, I was like, I never won 3rd place in anything because I didn't do anything. So, I'm like, "This is the coolest thing ever." I'm 35, I got my first podium, I don't even care. Like
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. I do all the sports, and I'm super competitive, but
Yeah,
I also think that it gives me the same drive that you now have for that too, though. Just my competitive
yeah.
nature.
Yeah, well, I think it's really cool though, because like it builds a lot of resilience. Like you're building resilience that you can use in other things in your life. And maybe right now you don't see how it's going to translate, but think hopefully you never have to go through really, really tough stuff in life. But um if you do, you know that you can do hard things. And doing hard things physically helps, just like you said, your mindset. Your mindset is going to be able to get you through anything that you go through. If you have your car break down or something, you're not going to sit there and freak out about it. You're going to just immediately go into that kind of like problem solving mode and just be like, "Okay, what do I need to do to fix this?" Like, that's huge. So, I think that that's really going to benefit you on top of the fact that you're having fun, you're living life, to the fullest extent, and you're accomplishing things, which of course is going to build your confidence. And I think that that's absolutely amazing for you. And but it's funny because you said that you're competitive. Um I think that you were one of the coolest competitive people ever though, because like as soon as we met you were so supportive of me, and like you were so nice, and just like it was like you're obviously way more skilled than me, but it was never like an I'm better than you thing. And I think again, a lot of people at your age, they let it go to their head, and you are very humble about it. And you are what I think most people want their kids to look up to. And that's why I was just like, we've got to get you on the podcast. Like, we've got to get you out there because you are like the ideal kid for a lot of people. Like,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Like, I guess I don't see myself as humble because I mean I appreciate that a lot, and I mean I try not to. I feel like there's so much more that I still have to learn that I can't even say that I'm that good
Mhm.
because there's still people beating me left and right. I mean, I raced the District 16 series this year, and I think I got like
Mhm.
fourth or third or fourth like in 85. So it's like I know there's so many people who
Yeah.
are so much faster than me, and even like right like
Yeah.
Braxton Jacobson went out there and rode TKO too, and like he was riding and like I don't know how much like skill or like how much practice riding he'd done for that race, but like we were pretty much at the same
Mhm,
point. So it was like I knew that even with like all my skill and stuff, like there's still people
mhm.
out there that are better than me, either just from talent or from just training harder. Cause I know there's still
Yeah,
training that I can do to train harder than what I am right now. I do train, but
yeah,
there's definitely that extra step I could be taking, which I'm
yeah.
definitely gonna take this next year. But and it's just I try to stay at that level because I know there's people who are better than me still, and I mean,
Mhm,
or people even like I don't know. I just there's so many people that are still better than me that I still strive higher. But
yeah.
I
No,
appreciate that a lot, though.
I think it's an important balance. I think it's great to identify that you have skills and that you are good to a certain extent, but then know that there's always improvement. I mean, look at Tristan Hart. He's the number one guy here in the States. He's constantly talking about how he can improve. And he'll finish a race first place and they'll be like, "How was your ride today?" And he's like, "Oh, my riding sucked. Like I made so many mistakes." And we're all like, dude, you won. Like, what? So
Yes.
I that's kind of like what I see in you. Like, yeah, you have the skill, you have the talent. Yes, you have all these amazing things, but you still have that like growth, that hunger, that want to get better, that improvement. And that's really, really cool. That's what I feel like is the best balance. I mean, you have competitiveness, but you also have that supportive, you have that drive. It's really, really awesome to see. And it's super, super inspiring. I saw you out there. I met you and I was just like, man, I felt like my energy was recharged because I was like dead after that hot lap. Oh my God.
Oh, me too. I have
I was
pictures
like,
of me like drenched in sweat. Like I posted one where I just looked like death. Like I
yeah.
felt and like my hot lap I felt went fairly smooth, and then I looked back at the
Hmm.
videos of me going through and it was just like I made it 15 feet and then I fell again. Another 15 feet and
Yep.
then I was picking my bike up. Or like I think I
Yep.
took there was this log at the end of TKO where it was two logs stacked on top of each other, and I tried that
Uh-huh,
thing
uh-huh.
4 or 5 times, and I had to have the guy, is one of the sweepers who was sitting there, like
They
help
had to
me get the
pull
bike
you.
over it at the end,
Hmm.
because I just couldn't.
Yep.
And that's where the picture of me like looking like absolute death. I had taken my helmet off for a second to try to catch my breath, and I'm just soaked in
Uh-huh.
sweat, and I look horrible. But I don't know. I don't know how I woke up the next day and then rode again, but I somehow managed
Hmm.
to. But
Bless her, she my friend Dana that I was there with, she didn't line up the next day. She finished the hot lap, but she didn't line up the next day. She's also a GNCC racer, so she was just kind of doing hard enduro for fun. She didn't want to hurt herself. So like I totally get it. But I kind of thought about not lining up and just being like, all right, I had a win, like that was cool. I made the hot lap. But then I was just like, like I said, I saw your energy and I was like super excited. I saw some of the other women that were there. I was super stoked for it. All everybody at Champion Brick is always super supportive and people were talking to me about it and I was just like, there's no way I can't line up. So I did and I
yeah.
struggle bust and it sucked, but I fell on that what is that thing called? That like container thing. I got to the top
Oh
of it and I fell over at the
yeah.
very top. I was
Like on the
like,
top of the
"Oh,
container
cool."
or going
Like,
off of it?
no,
Like on the
on the
top of the
top,
container.
like going up to it, like my front
Oh,
tire hit that edge and I like went down and I was like, "Oh, of course everybody's watching me now. This is cool." I was like,
I stress so much
but
about getting onto that thing. I think I had like 4 or 5 other people
oh my
just
god.
like they were just like, make sure you look in front of you. You've got this. And I stressed so much about like going up. My hands
Yeah.
were so clammy. I was like, I'm gonna fall. It's gonna be horrible. But I luckily made it
I
up and
I
off without
actually
falling.
oh, lucky you. I thought I was actually gonna like fall on the rocks, like coming that direction on that day. Like I thought going through that little rock garden, I was like, oh my god, I'm totally gonna fall off of this like thing, that concrete thing that we had to go down. I was like, I've never done this before. So I
Yeah.
didn't practice any of that because I was like so worried about the hill climbs and stuff. I completely forgot about the enduro cross until like 2 weeks before it. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. But I mean, I survived it. it is survivable for a newbie, but it is a little scary. And that container, like I said, I fell. Oh my God, there's video. And I had made a new friend. She's from Iceland. Her name's Anita. She's one of the pro riders over there. And she is on video, like next to my friend. And she's like, oh, when I fell. And I could tell it was her. And I was like, oh God. Oh God. I
Ah.
wasn't too embarrassed, like during the race. Like, I kind of
Yeah.
was like zoned in and I was like, I gotta get the bike up, like I gotta get over this, like I gotta get out there. And but then when I was watching the video later, I was like, oh God, I can't believe she saw that. But she is
No.
absolutely amazing. She's super, super sweet. And she keeps inviting me to Iceland to go and ride. So I was like, well, she doesn't think I'm that terrible, so that's good.
Yeah, I love that. I love that with the women's side of dirt biking, just like the supportiveness that you get from it. I haven't met one
Mhm.
mean or like condescending women's rider. Like it's always been like,
Yeah.
"How long have you been riding for?" And they're very happy just to see you out there and trying it. Even if you're falling every
Yeah.
3 feet, like they're just happy that you're out there on a
Yep.
bike. So that's like my
Yeah,
favorite part about
exactly.
like this women's riding. It's so warm and welcoming, even though it's
Yeah.
quite grueling actually riding, but like like the side of it, it's really awesome.
Yeah, I always say that like when we go on our women's rides, it's very different experience from going with like the boys. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my boys. They teach me a lot. I have progressed so much, especially because of Mitch and Cody. But I love my rides with my girls. Like it is a totally different atmosphere. It is like it's different levels, right? So there is the level of I'm out with the girls and I make it over a small rock feature and there's a big party. Oh my God, that was so awesome. And like we're all excited for each other, right? And when I'm cheering on the girls, like I'm super, super stoked for them. Like seriously stoked because especially a lot of the times when I take other girls out, they're not big into like medium enduro, harder enduro stuff. They just
Okay.
want simple stuff. And then I end up convincing them otherwise. So I'm like super stoked that they're doing it and that they're not trying to kill me. So and they always have fun. But and I don't do that every time, just as a disclaimer. It's just the people who I know like that
You
I've
can
been around and I'm like, you can handle it. Like we got this.
yeah.
But those
That's
rides are just it's so much more of like that supportive party kind of atmosphere. It's okay to stop and take a break and have a snack.
yeah.
Whereas sometimes when I'm riding with the guys, there's been a couple guys rides where I'm like, y'all, I gotta fucking stop. Like I have to I just have to stop and take a snack. Like I am going to pass out if I don't drink some water. Like it is very, very different. And they do cheer me on when I do big obstacles or things that are scaring the crap out of me because they challenge me. Oh my God. Mitch one time took me on I'm deathly afraid of exposure. Absolutely terrible at it. He took me on this like ridge trail and like it was foggy and so I couldn't see anything. I was like, I have no idea how long this trail is. I just know that if I fall like 6 inches either direction is the end of the trail. And that's all I got to put a foot down. And I can't put my foot down easily with my bike. So I'm probably going to end up going 50 to 75 feet down the
Oh.
side, either direction.
Oh.
And so like I would make it and then there'd be like a rock jutting out where he would like put his foot on and he'd be like cheering me on from there and I would stop at the rock and he'd be at the next rock and he'd be cheering me on and so like that's cool. He'll cheer me on and that stuff. But he's not going to cheer me on for doing a small little baby rock feature. Like I'm like, "Can I just have all the cheers, please?"
For real. I think because I ride with that same thing where it's like I feel like I'm cheered on when I do things properly. Yeah, when I do like big obstacles things or like when I do an obstacle cleanly that I haven't been able to clear like ever.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel
Yeah.
the same way, but I also think that because I think it gets the competitive side of me going like I got to try this until I get it just so I can get that like gratification. Like it makes me strive for
Yeah.
it even harder. And I think, and just
Yeah.
riding with harder riders, like where they don't like I don't want to say they don't accept, but like they always push for you to work just a little bit
Yeah.
harder. And I think it's just
Yeah.
progressively made me a better rider because then I'm doing the same thing,
Mhm.
and then I just push myself
Yeah.
harder and harder until, well, I reach the goal, or I set a new goal and then reach that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Or if I set a new goal and I reach that one. That's usually how it ends up being for me. Like, there's been a couple times where we've been on the trail and I'm just like, "Oh man, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this." And I'm trying. I'm trying my best. And the boys are like, usually we're in places that they can like do laps or they can do different lines than me. So we can all have fun in our different levels, right? But there have been times where it's just like, man, I'm not going to make it up this. So I'm just going to go over to this baby line over here and I'm going to make that and I'm going to feel real good about that. Like,
Yeah, we were riding up with the Sandstormers again. I was riding with
mm,
Marco and one of his friends, and we took this line. It's called
mhm,
Creekatory, but it's basically this really long creek bed, and then it slowly gains like elevation, really like steep elevation at the end.
yeah.
And honestly, I think that day alone, like I progressed so much just sitting there. It's because I made it through like all of the flat stuff, like all the flat rocks. I did
Uh-huh.
pretty good. I felt I got to there, and then I was fighting for every foot I got up that hill. Every foot, it was, I'd get to one, I'd get caught another rock, I'd spin my tire, I had to get through
Uh-huh.
it. And it was just, so Marco and his friend had already made it out the hill, and they had come
Uh-huh.
back, and it was every foot. Like, they would stand there, and then I'd get more advice of, like, how I should try this. And it was just really great, because I feel like I learned so much that day, just listening to them, because they'd always give me the
Yeah.
advice, because I like to spin my tire when I get to rocks, and I don't know if I don't know if I think, like, the louder the bike gets, the more it's going to gain traction, but it doesn't work. That's a myth. It doesn't work. So figure that one out. But I figured out that, or they were teaching me that if you push your weight on your rear tires and like keep it there, and then like you
Mhm.
press down and compress your suspension, like it'll kind of like give you that little bit of traction that you need to get over some of those rocks. So I started kind of
Yeah.
figuring that
Yeah.
out, and I think just that day alone, it taught me, like, it just, probably many people had told me that before, but that day specifically sticks out to me for when it like fully locked in my brain. I was like, wait, I've got it now. So I just I
Yeah.
started
That
figuring it out
makes it
then.
click.
Uh-huh. And I think
Yeah.
that helped me with even going over like logs, like
Uh-huh.
rock gardens, uphill rock gardens, even just hills, just like
Mhm.
figuring out that like if you put that weight on your rear tire, it'll grab better, and then it'll
Yeah.
like get you where you want to go. Like that was
Yeah.
honestly, that was a big moment that stuck out to me that day.
Yeah, definitely. I had a similar experience the first time I rode with the guys, with all the guys, uh, where I was just like on this hill and I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. It was my first like ride with these guys and we were on the spine trail and we had gone like we were going up and I had sent my bike and so it freaked me out super bad because I thought my bike was going to go over the edge and it didn't thankfully, but then I was just so in my head after that and I was just like, oh my god, I was like, I cannot believe that I'm doing this right now. Like, I can't believe I'm here. Like, these guys must think I'm so much better than I am. Like, they're probably super disappointed. I was just every negative thought because I was so terrified. And so Cody and this other guy that we were with came over and they were just like, it was exactly what you just said. Cody was like, yeah, you have to put your weight on the rear tire, like, just make sure you do that. And then you're just going to tractor right up this. And he's like, make sure your tire's in the rut. And so that I could put my feet on the sides. And I was like, holy crap. I don't know why I never thought of that. Maybe I did at some point, but it was never like, but now every time I go through similar terrain, I think of Cody telling me that. And so it's just like you said, like, it makes
Yeah.
it click. Like,
Mhm.
okay, like I hear those guys' voices in my head all the time. Like when I was at that enduro, there was one spot where I was just like, "Oh my god, I can't. I don't know if I can do this." And then I could just hear Mitch in my head going, "Come on, you got this. Like, let's go. Let's do it." And like I was just like, "Okay." And I only stopped for like maybe 2, 3 seconds, and then I kept going, as opposed to just like stopping, freaking out. But going back to something you said earlier, like I think like hitting obstacles in races is completely different than hitting them out on the trail. I think that the adrenaline of hitting it during the race makes it like, I don't want to say smaller because it's definitely not smaller, but maybe less intimidating because you're just so like laser focused. Do you find
Mm-hmm.
it that way, kind of?
I do. So I actually have a mini story about this. So when we were riding up at the Mad
Oh.
Moose, a couple weekends ago, like about a month ago, I think. I don't really remember when that week was, but we were riding up there, and there was this terrain after this like really like washed out uphill. I think it's like something's outhouse. But there was this like rock face coming up on the other side, and I had gotten 2 laps on that. So my first time around, it took me so long to figure out what I was doing. Then, like, I contemplated all my decisions. There's pictures of me sitting at the bottom of that with my head, like, on my handlebars. Like, how am I going to be able to figure this out? And then, like, I don't know what I did, but I just, like, locked in and I hit. It was, like, this really steep uphill with a kind of, like, curve. And I just, like, hit the thing full force and shot my bike right up the top of it. I don't know how
Oh
I
my
did it. Just
gosh.
looking at like this thing was probably the same height as me. And I found out after the race that there was actually a go around to the left if I would have looked. So everybody else wasn't going over it, which is why it seemed so completely impossible to me. But yeah, I found that out afterwards and I'm kind of sad about it, but it definitely taught me that if I just stop thinking about things and just try it, sometimes it works out.
Mhm.
In that situation, it didn't work
Yeah.
out exactly how I thought it would, but I at least got the bike over. So that was
Yeah.
something. But I had done that both times. The first time, so I actually
Mhm.
broke off my rear fender or my front fender doing that the first time. It like I hit a tree and the thing just like flung off, but it was okay. But
Oh
it
my
definitely
gosh.
that moment of that, and it does definitely, I think the difference between riding on trail and like riding in a race completely different. I think I pushed myself harder in races because of that. Even like there were some huge like
Yeah.
um logs that were I mean
Mhm.
they were not that difficult as I got in my head about them, but like they were bigger than my front tire and I was freaking out about them. And I hit them multiple times just like going straight at it until I realized like, oh wait, they're not that big of a deal. If I just get my front tire over, it's just like any other log. But I had gotten in my head
Yeah.
about it and it's the same thing. I feel like definitely in a race you just laser focus in and when you try things
Mhm.
sometimes it works out, other times it doesn't, but I definitely think I try more difficult things in races than I do when I'm riding, which I should probably
Mhm.
do the opposite just to get better, but that's what it seems to be so far.
Yeah, I always feel like when I'm out on the trail, there's always something that I'm like getting ready for. Like I'm training for a race or, something. So I'm like, I don't really want to mess up my bike. But then at the same time, it's like if you don't try it, you're never going to figure out if you can do it or not. So there's been a couple times where I've tried stuff and I have straight up sent my bike and just, oh, it was embarrassing. But but I'm trying it, and that's the important part, I think. Like, how am I going to get better if I don't face stuff like that? Like, it might be scary, but um, it's kind of what 2025 was for me. It's the year of doing things that I was scared of and just trying to get over those fears. I mean, I took a helicopter ride this year, and I'm afraid of heights. So, like, it's absolutely insane.
I absolutely love that for you. I feel what you're saying. Like 2025 was a year of trying things that were really difficult and like realizing
Hmm.
how much progression I can have. Like it was definitely a learning curve for me this year. I definitely felt
Yeah,
the getting better of it. So I agree with that. 2025 was a year of doing very difficult things. And for the most part they worked out. Like
yeah.
for me at least, they for sure worked out for me. I didn't get hurt this year at all, I don't think, which was really good
Yeah,
because last oh yeah, no, I don't think I really got hurt this year because of dirt biking. No, because the last
yeah.
couple years I've had like minor injuries and like a couple of like hitting trees and it didn't end well. But this year, like it went
Ugh.
smoothly the whole time, which was pretty good. But
That's
yeah,
good. So when you're looking to next year, if you had like I guess a wish list race, like what would be one place that you want to go to race or ride even?
Um, I feel like Battle of the Goats is a race that I really want to ride. I've just heard
Yeah.
so many stories about it. Everybody's like, I hear like the horror stories of how horrible it is when it's wet, and like when it, because
Yeah.
like it's like they say it's horrible to ride when it's dry, and when it's wet, it's impossible. So
Mhm.
that's something that I really want to see how I scale on that, like how I fall rank on that scale of
Yeah.
how difficult is it truly for me? Because I've heard
Yeah.
multiple people tell me how absolutely grueling that trail is, and I really want
Yeah.
to see how difficult it is for me personally. So that would definitely be a
Yeah.
wish list ride for me.
That's a good one. I've ridden at Brushy quite a bit, and it's absolutely so much fun in a lot of sections and absolutely terrible in others, and for me impossible in others. And then I had ridden there once when it was wet, but I stayed like kind of in the parking lot area cuz I was helping with a clinic, and that sucked. And then so when I was like Battle of the Goats last year, it was dry, so I didn't think about the fact that it could rain. And then I heard, oh yeah, it's been raining like at every single Battle of the Goats except that one. And then it rained like the whole week leading up to it, and I was like, oh my god. So I got there, and John, like the first thing, he was helping me unload my bike, and he was like, oh, this rear tire is not good for all of this, and he's like, we got to change this or you're never gonna make it. And I mean, I didn't really make it, but he gave me the best chance to make it. And the whole team was just absolutely phenomenal. Just the support that I got, that Matt is absolutely amazing with being able to like just be there, make sure you've got everything you need to give you your best chance to get your best race. And like I was definitely out of my element. So I was so very thankful to have that. And it's just like that experience, just being around hard enduro in general. Matt and I were already forming a friendship, but I've now friends with the Millers and you and John. And like it's really, really cool how like this team has grown, and like it's been awesome to see it just go from Matt and Tobin and grow to have all these super awesome people. Like I'm so excited. And now McConaughey's joined the team and Billy's there, and like they're really awesome. And I've known them since I first started with hard enduro here. So I'm super stoked about it.
Yeah, the team is incredible. The team, the sponsors, Matt. I remember Matt running around. I thought like I didn't know how it was gonna work at TKO with like how the team was gonna run, but seeing Matt just
Mm-hmm.
run around before his race, trying to catch all of us while we were riding, talking. He was like, I had stopped for
Yeah.
a couple minutes, and I remember I could just see the pride in his face because I don't think he thought I was
Yeah.
gonna get as far as I did, and
He
him
was
seeing me
so
there.
proud of you.
I know.
Yeah.
It gave me that boost of confidence I needed then to then continue pushing and driving forward, and it just see
Yeah.
like it makes me so happy the support I get from that team, just from all of them
Mm-hmm.
being there, from like Billy to John, even I mean Tobin. We were driving back from riding up in the UP one time, and I remember
Mm-hmm.
talking to him with Matt there, of course, and
Yeah.
we were all talking about it, and Tobin was like, you're only 15, like you're gonna get so much better at this point, like if you're only 15 right now with
Yeah.
this skill, like it just
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to how the team grows with me in the team as well. So I'm I think it's gonna go, it's a great team, like that's all I can say. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
fortunate to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think it's so cool. And to have you be like the girl, that's like I really feel like you're going to go pro next year. That's just my personal opinion. So to have a pro woman on the team and just like really like Tobin said, I mean, your skill level is just going to get better, and you're already really good right now. So, you have some of the best people on this team that can help you improve. Tobin does clinics, and John's a really good rider, and Billy's really good, and Makana's amazing, and everybody who's involved is just so willing to help and give pointers. And you're close to a lot of them, so you'll be able to hopefully ride with them and train with them a little bit, and that's just going to catapult your progress even more. So I'm super excited to see this. Like, I've watched Makana. So Makana was actually the first family, him and his family were the first people that I met in US hard enduro. And I was just like so excited. He is actually the reason that this podcast exists. He like I heard his story and his family story, and I started talking about it with other people, and they're like, I don't even know who that kid is. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, dude, this kid works so hard and he's like 15 and no one really knew. And so I started talking about it, and I was like, well, what if we had a platform for people to like talk about their story, like how did you get into riding, like how did this and how do you train and all of this. And so that's how this came about. And like it's grown, and it's gotten to the point where, you know, like we are able to inspire people all across the world now. This podcast is downloaded in 32 countries right now. Like, these people in other countries are watching you guys because they're learning about you from this podcast. And I think that that's the coolest thing. And you know, it's a future forward thing. This is like a 3 to 5 year plan. But there's a girl in Australia that I'm working with, and we're trying to figure out how to get a women's rider exchange program. Um, so basically what we want to do is we want to take those young girls, that talent. They'll have to be at least 18, so by the time we get it running, you'll probably be that age.
Yeah.
um but yeah, we want somebody to be able to go over there and race in Australia because they've got some amazing racing out there. And then have one of their girls come and race here and kind of figure it out. And like we've already kind of started talking about like what logistics we would need to do, like housing and stuff like that. Visas are kind of the biggest thing because going to Australia is a lot harder than it is to come to America. Um, but that's kind of like the hope for the future, is to be able to do something like that. So yeah, it'll be really cool to hopefully one day send you to Australia.
Well, that sounds incredible. That's awesome. I read an article about a few riders who went over and rode in I think it was Ireland, and just like hearing like just how much women's growth. Like there were 3 riders
Yeah,
over there riding, and I think that's incredible that so like just
yeah.
I think how the how the sport has grown is just it's great, and
Mhm.
I feel like it's gonna grow even more in the upcoming years. So
Yeah, yeah, and
I'm so
especially with go
yeah.
ahead.
I was just gonna say like, and with this platform being out there for people like encouraging that women's side of riding and even the men's side of it just
Mhm.
to like grow bigger, because I feel like the sport
Yeah.
still isn't quite big enough. It needs to grow more.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and that's a big thing that I've been trying to help with, is how can we grow hard enduro? Like, how do we grow women? How do we keep kids, you know, interested in it? Because in this day and age, how many kids are, it's so much easier to go and just play a video game, you know? And that's a lot of our culture, you know? And I think that it's super awesome that all these kids who are in hard enduro, not only are you guys riding at a high level, but you guys all have this drive. And like, you know, I don't know if you know any of the younger guys that are around your age in hard enduro, like, you know, like Gage and Graham Kobach and like all those kinds of guys, the Brady camps, they're all such hardworking guys. And, you know, the Brady camps, they work, they do sports, and they train like almost every single day. Like, that's insane. Like, what
Yeah.
15-year-old kid does that these days, you know? And so it's super, super inspiring. So I want to see you guys. You guys have the talent. I want to see you guys get recognized for it. And the fact that you're with Champion Brick, I mean, Matt is really got an eye for talent. He's absolutely amazing at it. And, you know, I'm so fortunate to be supported by the team. Like, I obviously I don't have the skill. I would love to one day get to the point where Matt is just like, hey, let's have you be like an official part of the team. Um, it'll happen. It'll
It
happen.
will.
But
I see it.
but for now, like I'm excited to be around. I'm excited to watch it grow. I'm so excited that you're on the team and that, like, I get to watch you now as your skills progress. And it's so cool. Like, I can't describe how happy I am. Like, meeting you, and like I said, you were just so fun. Like, and then you're a beast on the bike and you're just like, you're gone. I was like, whoa. So you're the future of the sport, and I think that the future is very, very bright. I mean, I think you're going to take it. I kind of feel like you have a lot of the same attributes that Rachel Gudish has, and so I could definitely see you going a direction like that.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that comparison multiple times this year even. But I do see myself staying in the sport for a while, hopefully growing it. Obviously, I
Yeah,
really just want to get more women involved in it and just them see that
yeah,
the sport, it's very difficult, but it's so rewarding too.
yeah,
It's I feel like that's the best part about it. I love like the reward, the feelings that I get when I do something good because I know I've worked
yeah,
so hard for it and I earned it. So
yeah,
I love that satisfaction, and I feel like other women, I feel like they'd feel the same way as me, and I feel like we have so much
yeah.
drive that it's like the sport could just, I feel like it could just triple in the next couple years
Hmm.
if there's just a couple more people who just strive to grow it. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
I can be part of that, but
Yeah, definitely. Well, I have a project that I'm working on that I might ask you to help me out with and see if you can be a part of that. It's a little bit of a drive for you, but if we start planning now, we could probably make it work. So, we'll talk about
okay.
that offline. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm super excited. There's some really exciting things happening in hard enduro next year, and I can't talk about everything just yet, but there's more series, there's more races. I know that Joe and Mesa just announced a second race out in Utah, and it is absolutely gnarly looking. I believe it's northern Utah. It's kind of like in the mountains, kind of in the woods, but in
Yeah.
Utah, which is crazy because a lot of people see Utah as just desert, but there are
Yeah.
mountains and stuff. And so it's really, really cool. I'm super excited to see how that one goes. Joe and Mesa are racers themselves, and they put on the Moab Hard Enduro, and it is one of the best run hard enduros because they're racers. They know what to look for. They know how to set up a good course. Joe's a pro, so it's good. It's really good.
Oh,
Very
I'm
scary,
excited.
but very good. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be really cool to see how this all progresses. I know of a couple other ones. Minnesota just announced that they're going to do a hard enduro next year. Um, so that's really cool seeing the Midwest kind of come through. I found out that South Dakota just had a hard enduro. It was kind of like a really small thing just a couple weeks ago, but I had no idea about it, and they're trying to grow it. So maybe we'll get a Midwest regional hard enduro like mini series going. So which would be
That
really
would be
awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so
So
many great places to ride in the Midwest, and just
mhm.
like there's so many there's so many riding places that nobody knows anything about that could be just so great for riding. Like I feel like
Yeah.
every spot that you ride in is a little bit different, and I feel like
Mhm.
getting used to all that riding gets you to become like a full circle rider. Like you're used to all terrain and that type of thing. I
Yeah.
definitely have to
Yeah.
ride in some other places. I've stayed in the same region for a long time now. I'm hoping to kind of get used to other types of terrain.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that was really cool. Like I said, you trained up in Michigan, but that's still the Midwest. It's still very different from the terrain that you went to out at TKO, which, like I said, is so impressive. You were impressive on like 1,000 different levels. Don't get me wrong.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, it was really, really awesome to know that, because I mean, I lived in Minnesota. I've lived in North Dakota. My soon to be sister in law is from Wisconsin. I've spent a lot of time, actually learned how to ride in Iowa. Um, So I kind of know the Midwest pretty decently, and I know that there's some like bluffy areas and stuff like that, but we don't have the same stuff there that they have in Tennessee. It's very, very different. So,
Tennessee is it's
um,
just very unusual. The rocks, everything is just a little
mhm.
bit. It's very. You know you're in Tennessee when you're riding in Tennessee. I don't know what it is
Yep,
about it.
yeah.
It's just one of those places.
Yeah, yeah, and what's funny is that, like, North Carolina's right next to it, but it's different riding in North Carolina than it is in Tennessee. And then if you go to, I mean, I haven't ridden anywhere else other than, like, Maine. I rode in Maine, I rode in, like, New Hampshire. Like, those are next to each other, and they're very different terrain, and it's just, like, everywhere you go is so different. Then I came out to the West Coast, completely different ball game. First of all, there's no such thing as traction here 90% of the time.
Oh,
So like my area, we have like these really technical hills, and they get more technical because there's all these little like rocks, these little like potato sized rocks all over the top of the ledges on the hills that you're going up. And it's just like, I don't have the skill to get up the ledge
oh,
barely. And then I make it. And then now I'm spinning my tire on all these little tiny baby rocks. And now I'm falling because I can't put a foot down.
yeah.
Um, I've learned a lot about traction out here. When it's not traction, like because there's little rocks, it's because there's dirt on everything, and the dirt makes all the rocks slippery. But not all the rocks are slippery. Some of them are really grippy. So you have to kind of decipher which ones are which, and you have to like the only way to learn it is to get out on the trail. So yeah, it's been a huge learning curve. And like when I first got out here, I was like, do I even know how to ride a dirt bike? Like, I feel like I don't.
Like
But
back
to
to
be
square
fair,
one.
it's not really, yeah, it's not really dirt bike riding out here. It's like rock bike riding because we're always on rocks. Like, rocks or sand. It's rocks and
Oh,
sand out here. So
wow, that sounds
it's my
rough.
nightmare, but
Yeah,
it's
it sounds
so
like mine
fun.
too.
It's
Okay.
so fun. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you should totally come out and visit because, like, I would like throw you out with the boys, and I'd be like, "You guys, take her, go." Like, because you're so like you could keep up. I think you could keep up out here.
I
You
don't
just have to be good with the
know.
exposure. That's the hardest part. Is the exposure. Is being able to like, if you're up on the top of a hill or like you're like on single track, kind of on the side of a hill, instead of being able to see trees, you see everything, like for miles and miles and miles. Like you could
Ooh,
see the next state over almost. And it's just like
dang.
you're very aware of the fact that you're riding on the edge of a 100-foot cliff. So it's
Oof, it sounds a little
it's
scary, but
definitely, yeah, it's mind-boggling.
yeah,
But
I
I
think I think
mean,
you just gotta get used to it, right?
yeah, yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing is I had very, very limited. I had been on single track maybe twice previous to going out to California and riding with the boys the first time. And so when they took me on that spine ridge, I was like, no, I can't do this. Um, but cause I just, the single track portion was what got me more than anything. I was like, I don't know how to ride single track, so I'm gonna die. But I made it through. I didn't die. And I have since then had a handful more times where I have fallen off of single track in a couple spots, but it was like 10-foot falls instead of 30-foot falls. So,
A little
um,
safer.
yeah, but you have the skill, and like you've been riding longer and you have that ability, you have that technique. So I think that for you going into it versus me, I had maybe 40 hours on my bike at that point when I came out here, or 50 hours, something like that. And so I was like very new still. And you have
Yeah.
the technique to feel safe and to, know how to react to those things. I just had no clue. So visually, it's going to be a little bit different. But I think, like you said, you're kind of used to following people and seeing how they do things. So if you were like with my guys, like, You would totally be
Yeah, I
fine.
can
They
watch
would
them and
first of all,
figure it
they're not
out.
gonna take you in anything that's gonna kill you. Um, but I feel
That's
like we
day
need to set
2.
this
I'm
up.
only out for day
We
1, right?
totally need to yeah, that's it's day exactly.
Day 2. Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly how it works. It's like you know them.
Exactly. It's okay. We used to every time we used to ride, it would be like when we were on our way back, it would be I'd fall and I'd be like super tired. I'd pick my bike up and the guy riding it, it was always Bill, and he'd talk back and he'd be like, "It's okay. There's only one more hill." There was never one more hill. Never. Anytime he said that, there was like 12
Never.
more
I hate when
hills.
people say that. Oh, it's just one more. Just one more.
And then it's like, "Oh, I forgot about this one." You forget about all of them. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It made me better.
Yeah.
I'm a way better rider because of it. So I don't hold a grudge, but I think it's always funny because now I'll go out there with him and we'll be riding and I'll like fall or whatever and I get up and I'm like, guys, it's okay. There's only one more hill left. We've got it. So it's definitely
I've
something.
definitely heard that before. It's hilarious. Yeah, the thing about the guys that I ride with, so that very first ride, the guys had been doing all these lines and like they were doing the cool stuff, right? And I was just sitting there watching them and going, "Oh my god, I can't believe they do that." Um and then Cody was like, "Oh, like, do you guys want to do like a leisurely trail ride on the way back?" And I was like, "Leisurely sounds great. Like, it's not this stuff that they're doing." And then we ended up on that ride. And I literally have video of out on the trail. I made it up one of these hills and I get up to them. They're all just sitting there, like in a line, just hanging out. And I'm like, I think you guys don't know the definition of leisurely. Like, so that's like the thing now. If Cody says it's a leisurely ride, it's leisurely for him. It is not
Yeah.
for me. It is hard for
Yeah.
me. And there's like, I don't remember what it is, but he's got like a whole thing and he's like, and then the top level is like insanity, like impossible. And I was like, that's like that's no. I never want to be in a spot where you say that the trail is like that cuz I will be
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
But I like I said, they're very cognizant of where they take me. They're really careful. They, Cody always makes sure, or Mitch is really good about it too. They make sure that if something looks too gnarly, they have a line for me. They'll tell me, "Oh, you go over there. We're gonna go up this. We'll meet you at the top or whatever." So,
Yeah.
um, it's really awesome just having good people. Like you have people to ride with that are good and they're better than you. And I think just having people around you that are supportive and they'll let you struggle without letting you feel like you're gonna die. I think that's a really important balance.
Yes. I agree. I think I'm so fortunate to ride with people that I do and I've become so much better just by riding with them. Just because
Yeah.
of what they do, I can watch how they ride, and I know that they didn't have that
Mhm.
when they were learning. Like I know that both Matt Adams and Matt Moss, when they started riding, they neither of them knew what they were doing. They went out there on a dirt bike,
Yeah.
and they were at the same level as you. Like they were staring at things like what, and just for me being fortunate enough to learn at two times speed of what they were learning because they can at least teach me what they're doing versus them just learning it.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why I've just
Yeah.
progressed at such a faster level, just because I get to watch and learn from people who have
Mhm.
already been through what most people start going through when they're first learning how to ride.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny because I've ridden with other groups of people since I started riding with these guys and they're like, "You take the hardest lines." And I'm like, "What?" And
What?
they're like, "Yeah, you take really hard lines on the trail. Like, why would you do that?" And I'm like, "To me, it's an easy line, but I think from riding with those guys so long, like I see the lines that they take, and so I take the easy line supposedly, but to other people who aren't used to that kind of riding, that's a hard line." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well,
Like
it just seemed a lot easier than like what I know they would do." So they've totally messed with my head. But
for
I
real.
think it's really good though cuz like I when I very first started riding, like when I first got this bike rather, I had maybe 10 hours on it and then I was doing a trail ride with Graham Jarvis and a whole bunch of like everybody in the group was an A or above rider. And I was like brand freaking new. And so I kind of like got that way because of that ride. And then like I started to grow out of it because I started to ride with other people who were still really good. Do not get me wrong, but they started taking me on stuff that was more appropriate for my skill level. And so I started to see things a little bit differently. So I think when I transitioned back to riding with these guys, and I like, well, when I met them and I was like, started to ride with them, see the stuff that they did, yes, it's absolutely insane the lines that they do, but I also see lines that other people can't see that are at my skill level because you're at a level and you only know what you know. You don't know that things are possible until you see it done. Well, I've been seeing it done since I started riding. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm so messed up. Like, I think that this is the way that I need to go with my riding, and like, this is what I need to do to do the kind of riding I want to do. Yes. But I recently had a bunch of people telling me that I'm a lot better of a rider than I think I am because I compare myself to those guys. I compare myself to all my high A friends and pro friends and like those people. I don't compare myself to other like C riders because I don't hardly ever ride with other C riders. So I was like,
Yeah,
huh, okay. So
I definitely
yeah, and then
understand
when I it's
that, like,
hard, right? Like,
yeah. Well, when you're always around that higher skill level, you just think you're so much
mhm,
further below that, and then it's like a perspective
yes,
change.
yes. Mhm.
I completely understand that completely. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. I just think it's so funny to me. I'm just like, cuz now I'm starting to like get that that's a thing. Like, okay, I did do better than I thought I was going to. I got on the podium for that race and I had no clue that I would ever be able to do that. I legitimately thought that a podium for any kind of race was years off for me. So like I said, that ignited a fire, and I'm just like, what else can I do? But
Yes.
it's it's changed a lot. But then like I've now put more money into the bike now, and I'm like working on different techniques now, and like I'm going to improve. It's gonna get better. So
Yeah. I got super fortunate in the bike aspect
um
from knowing Matt,
one of the
all
things
of our
I did want to ask
sponsors.
you is so you talked oh
You're good. Continue.
yeah. So I just wanted to ask, you talked a little bit about how you want to like to train a little bit more. Like, what is that going to look like for you? Is it going to be like more days on the bike? Is it going to be like technique practice? Like, what is that going to look like?
Um, I feel like it'll definitely be more days on the bike, and then I definitely have to work on like distributing better. Like I said, that was one of my biggest
Hmm.
thing with climbing hills, just because I have my weight in the wrong spots, which I'll either have it too far back and then I'll
Hmm.
go backwards and like loop the bike out, or I'll have it too far forward
Yeah.
so I'm not getting enough traction with my rear tire. I think that's something that I'm
Hmm.
really gonna have to work on in the next year. And then more seat time for sure, because I feel like I just learn
Hmm.
progressively while I'm riding, just being on the bike, maybe not specifically focusing on something, but just riding,
Yeah.
and my body, like, muscle memory will kick in, and I just
Yeah.
progressively become better from that as well. And then going over like log matrices and stuff too, I have to get more comfortable with bigger logs, and more like I have to
Hmm.
we have um rock garden out in our yard, and I'm definitely gonna have to move some of those rocks around because I've gotten very comfortable with where they are right now, to where I know where the good
Yeah.
lines are, and like I know where the harder lines are, and I've gotten used to them. That I'm definitely gonna have to mix some of those up, go out there and shake them around a little bit, so it's a new type of thing, so I can kind of learn with different positions of like where I am, because I feel like the
Hmm.
best way to figure something out is I like to go out on our rock garden every once in a while, and I'll get to a difficult stop part and just stop, kill the bike
Yeah.
because I know that in a race when I'm not expecting it, I'm gonna fall there. So I'm gonna have to then pick my bike up and figure out what I'm
Mhm.
gonna do from there. So I'll stop like, well, my bike is
Yeah.
hung up on a rock. So then I can figure out how to push the
Yeah.
bike back and try and get over that situation
Yep.
from that like dormant spot. Because I mean
Yeah.
anybody can do anything if you have enough speed and traction. So, but if
Mhm.
you take that all away and you start like completely still and then try it again, I feel like that just gets you so much better because I know I'm not going to make it through like the rock gardens in Tennessee. There was no way I was making through that standing up the whole time keeping my traction, but I knew that because I had stopped there, I knew how to gain my traction again, which I think also helped a lot.
Yeah.
So, definitely things like
Yeah.
that, just a lot more bike time for sure.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. I think that's great. I'm super stoked for it. You should definitely come out here and train. We have like not even 3 minutes from my house. There's like four different washes. So like they're dry riverbeds. And we
Oh,
just had all this flooding. So because I live right at the base of the mountains. So all of those riverbeds, like the washes, they're all completely different now. And every single time it rains, it usually floods. So because like it's called flash flooding. Um because
yeah.
like the ground out here just doesn't soak up the moisture like it does in the Midwest. It like the ground doesn't know how to do it, so it just like all the water essentially like funnels to the lowest point, and then it sits
Oh,
and then it gets absorbed. So from like up in the mountains it floods a lot, but anyway, so yeah, all these washes that I did a month and a half ago when I had my bike, because I just got the suspension back, um they're completely different now. So I went down one of them the other day and I was like, I don't even know where I'm at right now because like it looks completely different. So and then I got super lost because I actually ended up going down the wrong wash, not the one that I thought I was in.
yeah.
So I know that one, and like I know that it curves around the mountain or whatever. This one kind of went off to the left in a different direction, and I was like, nobody's been down this wash before, because like there's vegetation everywhere. Like, and I, I kind of freaked out a little bit because I fell, because I like hesitated because I was like, I don't know where to go. Like, there's nowhere that my skill set can go from here. And so I fell, and I fell right next to a rattlesnake, and thankfully it was
Oh,
slithering away. But I was like, I need to get out of here. Oh my god, this is absolutely insane. But the snakes are going away now though, because it's dropped temperature. So you should come out here during the winter, and then I'll
oh,
take you out there
yes.
and you could just play in the washes and with all of the
That sounds
rocks. There's big
awesome.
rocks, little rocks, every kind of rock you could want is out
I
here.
really do
So
love rocks. That's like my favorite thing,
I
honestly. I love rock
it's great.
gardens, going over them. It's because there's so many different lines. Like
Hmm.
there could be someone stuck over there, and I can just go the other way. Versus like a
Yeah.
log. I mean, yes, there's multiple spots on a log, but like there's only one really good spot to hit a log, honestly. And if there's another spot, you
Yeah.
have to be like really good to be able to make other lines in that. For rocks, it's like you don't even have to be that good. You just gotta get
Yeah.
your balance right, and you're golden. So that's my favorite part. And there's no like line. Like it's
Yeah.
just feel it and kind of go wherever the bike takes you. So that's definitely
Yeah.
one of my favorite parts about riding is definitely rock gardens.
I love that. Super random. Uh has Matt talked to you at all about potentially racing Romaniacs? Because he talks to everybody about racing Romaniacs. So I know, but I know you're younger, so I don't know how the like laws are about you doing it over there because of your age. But have you guys talked
Uh,
about that?
we haven't really talked about it much. I don't know if it's gonna be in the future before I'm 18, just because of like how passports works and everything.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that I've thought about possibly doing in the future. Maybe after I turn
Yeah.
18, maybe before, depending on how it all works out. But he has not specifically talked to me about it. No.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
he
I was
does.
just
He
wondering
does
because
talk about it.
he
He
talks
talks
about
about it
it
with
to like
everyone. It's like
everybody.
his
Well, because
favorite
he
thing.
talked to me about it last year before we were even like working together and stuff. Yeah, and the plan right now is that I'm gonna do it in 2026. So, and I'm trying to get like other women to come and do it with me. So I'm like, I know you're young and you know, there's laws
Yeah.
and stuff, but I would love if you were
Mhm.
there. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. That would be pretty awesome. That's so
Yeah.
awesome that you're going out there and doing that. Like, that is such a difficult race. Like, the fact that you're
Mhm.
going out there and doing that is incredible.
I I don't know if it's incredible or if it's stupid or incredibly stupid, but I'm doing the lowest class. I'm doing Atom class, so it's not like a true hard enduro at that point. It's more like a hard scramble. So
Yeah.
it's more hair scramble style, but it's still in Romania. It's still out there,
Yeah.
and you still do
You're
have to
still
go
riding
through
in
some
another
gnarly stuff.
country by yourself in the middle of the woods where
Mhm.
you don't know where you are. So I think it's just as
Yeah.
that's just as scary as going out there and riding a hard enduro. So that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Well, thank you. I love that.
Of course.
I I just love how supportive you are. It's just amazing. Um, yeah, it's very scary, but I figure why not? If I can afford it, and if I can get some support to help afford it, then why not? Like, why not show people that it's possible at any level, right? You don't have to be a
Yeah.
pro. Because I have friends who are like, oh my God, it's a dream to go over there. Like, I can't even imagine going over there and trying to race it. And I'm like, why don't you just do it? Like, I know you have the money. And they're like, no, no, if I go, I want to be like silver class. And I'm like, why? Why do you
Why?
have to be that? Why can't you just go and enjoy it and have the experience? Yeah, you might be doing it in irons or bronze class, but that's still really cool. So
You're still
we
over there doing that. Like it's
exactly.
yeah,
It would be
definitely
freaking awesome. So I'm
yeah.
trying to get as many people as I can to go. I've been talking to my buddy Grayson about it, and I'm like, Gray, are you going? And he's like, I can't afford it. I'm like, yes, you can. You're gonna win the lottery.
Do
Like, let's go.
it. Yeah.
So I want everybody to be there, but Matt has actually been there, and so he actually knows the experience, and he wants everybody to go there, and I'm just like going off of that energy. So
Yeah, he talks all good things about it. I've heard no bad things about
Mhm.
it. He just talks it up. He has said multiple times that it's something that everybody should experience if you're a dirt bike rider. Like everybody,
Mhm.
he has even said even if you're not riding, just to experience it is as a thing. So that's
Yeah,
definitely something that I want to
yeah,
experience at some point in my life. So
yeah. I I'm kind of starting to wonder if he gets paid to promote it. Like
I wonder. I don't know, but he does talk it up a lot,
he just talks
and
about it so much.
I think he just really enjoys it that much.
I think so too. But it's just funny. Maybe they should. Maybe we should start a petition for Romaniacs to pay him since he's promoted it so
Yeah,
much.
I mean, half the
Especially
riders
like
that yeah, most of the riders that
exactly,
go
like
over there,
half
I
the
bet haven't
US
talked
riders
to
are
them.
all from him. So
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, like, I think that if he could, everybody associated with Champion Brick would be over there racing. Like, if he could make that happen, it would be big.
He yes. It would be his dream, have everybody go over there all together
Yeah.
and oh, he would love
Oh my
that.
god.
I feel like everybody would love that
That
involved
would
in
be
that.
amazing.
It would be.
Yeah. I think it's I oh god. He's got some big plans for the team, and like I said, there's no better person to be around. Matt is just he's the most supportive, and he has done so much with this team. He's grown it. I'm so proud of him. Like, it is so cool to watch this. And like I said, he's just so supportive of everybody. He wants everybody to have fun, and even if they're not like involved with the team, he still wants people out there to have fun. He's just out there hyping up hard enduro, and he's just like one of the biggest supporters of hard enduro in general. And I think that that's the coolest thing. But then also seeing what he's done with this team, like I've said it multiple times that this is the best team. Maybe it's not the factory team, maybe there's not the number one rider on this team, but There are number one riders on this team. There are amazing riders on this team, and they're all good people. And like I said, Matt just has this way of bringing these people together and finding that talent. And it's so amazing. So, again, that's why you're on this team. And it's so cool that he saw your talent and believed in you and, got you out to TKO because that was the coolest thing to watch you kick butt out there.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed riding at TKO so much, and being a part of the team is like the greatest blessing that I have. I'm so grateful for Matt having me on there and racing under them and just meeting all the people that he knows. And he's so open to just add someone to a conversation. Like you could just be standing
Mm-hmm.
nearby and
Yeah.
he'll just be like, "Hey, come over here." And then he just creates this like this fun environment to be around, and he's such
Yeah.
an incredible guy.
Yeah, yeah, he is. It's awesome. We are incredibly lucky to have him in US Hard Enduro. And the fact that he talks about Romania so much is really great for them too, because there's no better person that you want on in your corner than Matt. So I love it.
Yeah.
Um I did have one more question, or maybe it's kind of like
Okay.
a two-part question. So
Okay.
if you were to give advice to somebody who is brand new to dirt biking in general, what would be your best advice for them?
Um, I would say that if you're new to riding dirt bikes, you should embrace all the moments. Like the little wins are your best friend. Like you don't have to be excited or looking like you can have a goal, a long-term goal of like wanting to be able to make it through this long intense track or win this race or make it to a podium, but the tiny wins are
Mhm.
those are the things that make me the happiest. Like when I hit certain logs and I don't like feel my or like feel like wobbly like when I go over certain rock things. Like it makes me happy just
Mhm.
those little wins, or when I finish
Yeah.
certain races and I'm like not super out of breath and tired, like I'll finish hair scrambles and I'm like, okay, I wasn't looking forward to the end of that. Like it shows that growth, and I think just those tiny little wins that you're looking forward to are something that you should always
Yeah.
look to if you're a new rider. And then like advice that I'd give to if you were like starting like riding just right away is really focus on like your balance. I think that's something that is always a good thing just to focus on right away when you're beginning riding. Get go with your clutch
Mhm.
control and your balance. Those are going to be your best friends. Once you have those two basic things down, everything else will come. But I think once you
Yeah.
can have your weight evenly distributed, like while you're going around turns and you've got like your body in the right position, you'll know when you hit a turn and you're in the right position because it'll just
Mhm.
feel so much smoother, and you leave the turn and you're going faster than when you entered it. Like you know you hit that right.
Yeah.
So I think balance,
Yeah.
clutch control, and just those tiny wins are the best things to be focusing on if you're a new rider.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So then the second part to this question is what's your best advice for somebody who's brand new to hard enduro specifically?
Um, my best advice for if you're new to hard enduro would be you're going to want to figure out your suspension, because I think that's my biggest thing. I think being able to figure out how to get your front tire light when you need it and heavy when you want it,
Mhm.
and like getting that traction, I think that is your biggest key to hard enduro. Because once you can figure out when you want to stick your front tire into something versus float it over is your key to figuring out how to make it over these hard obstacles and things. And then also the other side of that would be just keeping traction the whole time. You got to keep moving when you're going
Mhm.
up these longer obstacles. You think like I'm starting somewhere and it's like, oh, that's a good place to stop and start. You don't want to do that. It's gonna look like that, but it's gonna be three times harder to continue moving. You gotta set up for like this long obstacle right when you start it, and you just gotta go. Because the second you start slowing down and let off the gas and like reset, that's when everything becomes three times harder. So definitely those two major
Yeah.
things, just figuring out when you should be having your front tire light versus sticking it, like that whole like suspension and weight distributing, and then the
Mhm.
like keeping your suspension or keeping your momentum and like keep moving would be the
Yeah.
two things that I would say. But I'm still new to it, so
Awesome.
I mean,
No, it's great though, because like we all have something we could teach and we all have things to learn. So we just have a lot of people who have started riding after listening to this podcast. We have about, I think, 11 or 12 now. And we have, I don't even know how many people who've decided that they want to start hard enduro after listening to this podcast, or a couple people have, wanted to try hair scrambles or things like that. So I always try and kind of get like pick people's brains for their expertise, because it's really,
Yeah.
really cool to, hear it from people. And even like you said before, sometimes you hear it from one person and you're just like, okay, whatever. But then you hear it from somebody else, or you hear it in a specific way explained, and then it clicks. And that's what's
Mhm.
going to stick with you, like you said.
Yeah. I think I think everybody should at least at some point in their life, if they're riding dirt bikes, try a hard enduro. I think it just toughens you up and help it changes your perspective a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something everybody should try at least once.
I agree 100%. That should be, I think that we should campaign for that, because
I
I
agree.
everybody should do it. Like you said, it makes everything else seem easier. So why not? Like, we all
Exactly.
want to
Once
get
you
better. That's how you get better.
exactly. Exactly. Because now going from riding like hard enduros to then going back to riding hair scrambles, it's like hair scramble is like light work now. I'm just going out there to have fun versus like actually racing it. Like I'm just
Yeah.
we're just doing hair scramble this weekend, no big deal. Like but before like if you would have told me last year that I would be thinking that hair scrambles were no big deal right now, I would have like laughed at
Mm-hmm.
you. I'd have been like, no way. Because I was the biggest like stressor about it. Like, I'd be like practicing and be like, oh, it's okay, I've got it. And now it's like I don't even think about them. It's like, ah, I'm racing hard enduros now. That doesn't matter.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I love it though. I absolutely love that. I had a lot of people who were like, I podiumed on that enduro, and they're like, "Oh, you should come and race the full series next year." Well, the full series is enduros and hair scrambles, and I think one or two GPs. But I was like, why? I'm trying to do hard enduro. They're like, because you'll be
Yeah.
so much better. Like, just come and do it. Like, look how well you did at this one. Like, this was one of the harder ones. And I'm like, no, because I know that there's at least one more that's really hard. It's like 100 miles long or something like that. And it's like
Dang.
through some of the gnarliest parts of the desert down towards Phoenix. And it's just like, no, I feel like you're lying to me. I feel like the one that I did was probably the most technical. But the
I don't
Outlaw,
mean to
I think it's
interrupt
what's
you.
called, the Outlaw.
I
No,
don't mean to
okay.
interrupt you. My phone's at 1%, so I need to grab my charger. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it's gonna
yeah,
die.
yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
See if I can rebalance it with the charger being in it now. Possibly, maybe not. We'll see. Wait,
Well,
maybe if
I
I.
was about to wrap it up anyway, so
Okay.
it just has to
I'll just
balance
kind of
for
hold
like
it then.
a minute, or you can hold it.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
um, well, this is your last, or excuse me, in our last couple minutes, this is your time to say any thank yous or shout outs that you have.
um, Shout out to like all the sponsors, Champion Brick, my dad personally. He's incredible. I wouldn't be here at all without him. Like he's my biggest supporter and my biggest critic, and I love him for that. Matt Adams for all the support he's given to all the racers. I mean, um, Rob's Performance Sports for selling the bike in the first place, of us getting it from them. Bike Graphics for the stickers, obviously. One Gripper for my bike seat, and then Double M Solutions, which is my dad's company, which definitely helps a bunch too. And then Mototask for their V Force reeds. They for my engine between like my carburetor and stuff.
Oh.
And then SX slide plates because I have their slide plate on right now. And then I
Mhm.
also have their rear rotor guard. So they gave me two, and then we modified it for my bike. So we modified
Mhm.
one of them, obviously, for my rear tire because they don't have a guard for 85. So I had Mike Ziegler and then my dad, they modified it for my bike and it works great. So big shout out to all of them. So
That's awesome. Cool. Well,
yeah.
thank you again so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate this. Like, I am so stoked to see where you go, especially next year. Like I said, I feel like you're going to go pro next year. I feel like you have the capability to do it. And I am so excited to see you just like skyrocket in your abilities.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the support and I hope you continue riding on hard enduros and I hope to see you next year.
Oh, you definitely will.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay.